From deep in the heart of Texas, it's On Second Thought, powered by Hook'em.com. Hosted since 2016 by your favorite sports columnists, Cedric Golden of the Austin American-Statesman and Kirk Bohls of the Houston Chronicle. Let's do it, fellas.
This is On Second Thought, powered by Hook'em.com. I'm Cedric Golden, joined by Taylor's favorite duck, Kirk Bohls. The Texas Longhorns play the Georgia Bulldogs in Athens, 6:30 p.m. on Saturday. And so we had to bring in one of the big dogs from ESPN since Mickey Mouse is televising this game. All props to the mouse. He is the name behind the Paul Finebaum show. You can see him on First Take and Get Up, and he will be at Myers Quad, 2 blocks from campus on Friday afternoon for the Paul Finebaum show, and on Saturday in the morning on SEC Network. Paul Finebaum joins us. Paul, you had a few technical difficulties, but you're here, and I didn't know that you still had dial-up. What's going on at the Finebaum house?
Well, now that this YouTube Disney conflict is into its third week, we're having to get by any way we can here at the mouse.
Oh man, we love the mouse. We love the mouse.
Yeah, we love it when it's on our TV better. So, Paul, you were one of the first people on the Longhorn bandwagon. I mean, your love for the Longhorns it's almost more than for Alabama, is it not?
A little bit. I was being ridiculed the other day about being all in on Arch, and I said, "Let me ask you a question. Who was your Heisman pick this year?" He said, "Nussmeier." I said, "Well, he got benched Saturday night. My guy's still playing." And I for all the Klubnik Nussmeier fans in July, Kirk said, "I don't think it's of course I've jumped on and off the Arch bandwagon about 4 times this year, but that's just been the nature of this season."
There've been a lot of sprained ankles jumping on and off that bandwagon. You're not alone here, but like you say, it's better to do it late than early, right?
Yeah, anybody that unless you went all in on Ohio State this year, you probably have been wrong about most of what you said.
That is so true because no one saw Aggie doing this. But since we're talking about Arch Manning, and I'm on the screen with the 2 biggest Arch homers in America. 654 yards, 7 touchdowns accounted for, and only 1 interception in the last 2 games. Now this is going to be the toughest game of his young career, and the Longhorns got to win this game, I think, to keep their CFP hopes in realistic view. Can Arch Manning actually go to Sanford Stadium and beat a team that's only lost once there since 2019, Paul?
I think it's within the realm of possibility. And one thing that I think goes in his favor is that the Georgia secondary has been pretty porous this year. So that is a plus. And the Georgia team is an enigma because they have nearly lost as many games as the Longhorns. But they're starting to play really well, as you saw against Mississippi State and as Texas has lately. And so I do think there's a route. Now, the only thing I would say, and I don't know what the CFP mafia has to think about what I'm about to say, but I think if the Longhorns lose this game, they still have a path back. If A&M shows up in 2 weeks undefeated, that would be a significant win. And when you factor that in with the first game against Ohio State, and nobody's played Ohio State as well as Texas, are you going to give a berth to a 2-loss team who played East Laredo High School in the opening game as opposed to Ohio State?
And like we've talked about all year, the selection committee is going to use new metrics, more strength of record, probably consider quality losses, even though the rest of the nation hates that phrase. But, you look at it, they played Ohio State. They took that risk. A&M, played Notre Dame. Alabama played Florida State, which we thought was going to be good, played Wisconsin, which is a decent team with great traditions. Luke Fickell hadn't gotten going yet. So The thing is that I wonder about the eyeball test. And I think a lot of people don't really trust Texas yet because, winning in overtime against Kentucky and Mississippi State, yes, on the road, but that doesn't exactly encourage the fan base too much. And then, almost giving up a huge lead to Vanderbilt at home. So what do you think the trust factor is for Texas, Paul?
I don't think it's that high, but I also look at that Vanderbilt game, maybe having been down there with you guys, and I saw a team that really got out to a fast start and looked good. And
Right.
Losing, I'd rather there's something to be said. I mean, teams always get bashed for losing a lead, but I liked what I saw when they got that lead, and I'm not as concerned about the Texas defense. I think it will show up Saturday night, but I just don't. I just get so irritated when I hear the Tuesday night crew talk about running efficiency for Indiana and how they're how great their band is aligned at halftime, and that should count for something. I mean, let's just watch the football games and make our own determination. And I believe that Texas is incredibly good. Now, you put Texas against almost you go through the Big Ten. And outside of Ohio State, I'll give Michigan credit. They did go to Oklahoma. Who else has really played anybody of the contenders? And Penn State played nobody. I know they're long gone, but they started the season number 2 in the country. They played Villanova and Florida International and East South Bend Junior College. And I just think that we really Texas deserves credit. And I would be outraged if one of their losses is against either Georgia or Texas A&M, 2 of the top 5 teams in the country, and because of that, they're kept home.
It'll be because of Florida. I mean, that's what's going to be. That
I understand that.
Way.
No, you can't. But and I was there too, and I still can't get over that game. But I also like what you do lately. And I think that's how you should. It's an NCAA basketball tournament factor that they don't use as much as they used to. But I want to know what kind of team you are in November, as opposed to what happened in September.
I'm going to tell you, Paul. I am here for a 9-3 Texas getting in, just for the outrage, just for the national outrage outside the SEC. Now, Greg Sankey's going to be dancing a jig if that happens. But because I think that those top 4. Or I mean, A&M's going to make it, Georgia's going to make it, Ole Miss is going to make it, Alabama's going to make it. And those guys could actually sew up CFP spots before the SEC championship game because they're not playing each other. None of them are. And so that's kind of a tough break for Texas because Texas would probably love one of those guys to knock the other off. But I do believe that a 9-3 Texas is going to be on the outside looking in, even though I think that they are definitely one of the 12 best teams in the country right now.
Well, that happens. I will be screaming the loudest, even though I'm not sure I'll have anywhere to scream. But I will. It's just I don't know. I mean, I just get so outraged when I hear the Big Ten chatter, and I'm not saying. I mean, the Big Ten is good. I mean, at the top. I mean, Oregon's a really good team. I mean, Indiana, what else can be said? And we know what Ohio State is, but even Texas's schedule of going to Mississippi State and Kentucky, laugh if you want. I'd like to see Indiana try that.
Indiana, like you said, Indiana didn't play anybody. It was like Old Dominion and Kennesaw State, which is bowl eligible this year. I'll give them that.
Okay.
But
Come on, Owls.
They didn't exactly, have a challenging schedule. And I wonder too about 9-3. It didn't work last year. Obviously, you got 3 SEC teams with that record that didn't make it. But if they do go 9-3, that means they will have beaten A&M or Georgia, which is 3 wins over top 10 teams. And you add in the Ohio State close loss. I mean, Arch Manning could have scored from the 1, the whole game might have been different. But I don't know if do you have more faith or less faith in the selection committee getting it right this year, Paul?
Point number one, I don't trust any committee, whether it's at your Bible study, whether it's at Ced's retirement home, whether it's...
Well, you're trying to retire. I'm younger than you. You
I know,
stop
but-
it. I'm in my 50s.
Yeah, you'll be retired before me, though.
You wish.
Yeah, you're right about that. But ultimately, I don't trust people that are. This is a do-gooder committee. They get on there and they sit around and they have such a tough job, guys. I mean, they sit at the 5-star Phoenician or the Ritz-Carlton, whatever it is, and they have the caviar and the Perrier and the flute glasses and the champagne being brought in, and they have to watch. We watch the games. I mean, like, who cares? I mean, we watch games. I mean, we got a sports bars, we got a friend's house, and they sit there with all those TVs. And then when it's over, here's what they did last year. They gave SMU a berth over an SEC team. Because they played so well in that championship game against Clemson. And we just have to celebrate the effort that those young boys put on the field. And that's what drives me crazy. Now, I realize, for all you want to claim I'm an Alabama hawk, Alabama blew it. They lost to Oklahoma. They cost, but so what when you compare it to some of the other stuff that we saw? And Ole Miss lost to Florida, and I know that Texas this year lost to Florida, but it was a long time ago. And but those people in that committee room, and I know a few of them, and you know a few of them, they'll sit around and they go, "Well, let's try to be fair about this. Don't be fair about it. Just pick the best teams.
Let's be real. Let's be real." And that's Kirk. That's your boy, Kirk. Mac Rhodes is your boy. That's your guy. That's Kirk
Mr.
Bohls'
Baylor.
boy.
Yeah,
I
want to ask you too, Paul, about Sark. Obviously a very good coach, great coach. I don't know. We'll see. He's 0-2 against Kirby. Maybe Georgia has his number. He's 0-2 against Ryan Day. He's 0-2 against Kalen DeBoer when he was at Washington. How important is this game for Sark and his reputation and, ability to maybe rise up and be considered an elite coach?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he is on that top tier, and I think he could be, and I think he has the capacity to be. I think it's. I think if you had to pick a game which was more important to him to win, would it be Georgia or to be Oklahoma? I think I'd take Oklahoma, having spent enough time in your state and in Oklahoma. But I do think one of these days he's going to have to do that. And we're all tired. I'm a little tired of hearing how Texas is the only school to be in the semifinals the last 2 years. I know that's a Kirk Bohls for Senate talking point, but but that's okay. Winning a game like this matters, though, because Georgia is so rarely, if ever, beaten at home,
right,
or anywhere for that matter.
But you know what? I think OU is huge every year. But if he had won the SEC last year, if he had beaten Georgia, if they make a couple of field goals, then we're not having this conversation, because then he just won the SEC,
right.
and all of a sudden he is top tier, because they don't give away SEC titles for free. But I wanted to ask you, I was looking just through a couple of notes, and what's going on in Baton Rouge with Brian Kelly? They don't want to come up off the $54 million. Do they have him in photos of him in compromising positions? What's going on with this buyout?
Yeah, I mean, as it's been explained, they've offered him 30 in a lump sum versus 54 over 10 years. Now, listen, I'm no bond trader at Goldman Sachs, but I'm not sure 30 right now to be invested over 10 years might be better than 54 over 10 years. But I'll leave that to. I mean, Brian Kelly's got a tough decision to make. And I think right now he's probably so bitter he's going to keep threatening the school because he wants a pound of flesh. It's the most fight we've seen out of Brian Kelly in a couple of years. Because I mean, we certainly, I shouldn't say this out loud. As everyone knows, I interviewed him every Monday,
right.
And by the end, it was think about your worst experience. 4 wisdom teeth without anesthesia. I mean, whatever it is. I mean, that became a real challenge to go, hey, coach, congratulations on a fine effort. I know you lost the
A&M.
game, but man, your kids really showed up. I mean, it just became unbearable, and I've done some unbearable things in my time.
Yeah, and then you look at Florida. I mean, they fired Billy, seemed like 2 months ago already. Is Florida the best job opening right now? Is it better than LSU because of the dysfunction there? And is it better than Penn State? Or how would you characterize the Florida job?
I think the governor of Louisiana made it better. And listen, people can laugh about that, but that guy did a lot of damage when he said what he did.
Oh, yeah.
Because the thing with Scott Woodward, you can like him or not, but I mean, he did not deserve to be burned right there. Just go in and throw him out.
It's fine.
And by the way, I would have rather had Scott Woodward conduct my coaching search. Somebody who's very qualified than your assistant who all he did was stand up and talk about how the most important things at LSU are being on ESPN and going to the playoff. I mean, everyone knows that. You don't need to say it.
Don't say it. Oh God, that was so
it just came off really poor. And but listen, Louisiana's always prided itself on politics intertwined with sports, and it was a great show. I loved watching it. I mean,
it was entertaining.
I felt like I was watching the all the King's Men movie from the 30s with Huey Long standing up there pounding his fist.
So Florida, who does Tim Tebow want? Who does Steve Spurrier want?
Well, I think it's right now. I mean, Lane Kiffin's at the epicenter of every conversation. I was on a show in New York the other day, and a guy asked me, "Hey, what do you think about Kiffin for the Giants?" Jackson Dart and all, and I joked with Kiffin, and he said, "I'm not going there; it's too cold." He said, like, I can't see Kiffin sparring with the New York media. Can you guys?
Oh my God, it would be priceless. I would miss him in the SEC. I don't. One of the maybe the unspoken pleasures of covering the SEC is Lane Kiffin at media day. You just don't know what he's going to say, and then watching you and him go back and forth. Yeah, is that you and Lane? Is that playful, or does he really hate you, Paul? Because I know some people do, but I'm not sure that Lane does.
He does not. When we're together, it's like 10 minutes. You just close your eyes and you don't remember a thing, because it's a little bit of method acting, because it's all about timing with him. You can't rush him. You have to let him kind of go at his pace. And he's very funny when he's in that little bubble. And we've done 2 interviews, one in Destin and one in Atlanta. And I can't describe it. I've had friends of mine tell me it's the funniest thing I've ever seen. And I'm like I'm afraid to watch, because I don't know what's going on other than me looking awkward and him looking awkward.
I remember the one at Destin.
It is very, very awkward watching y'all, because there's this dead air and people know that there's that little drama, and I'm like, how much of it is real and how much of it is WWE? But it is good television. It is, Paul.
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, we're friends, and we text a lot, but I don't. I mean, he's asked me a few things now and then, and I've asked him a few things, but you just have to let Lane be himself. I've never found him to be like drop dead funny, but it's just that clever little. You have to it's nuance.
Well, he tweeted Monday after Auburn lost to Vanderbilt in overtime. He tweeted freeze warning. Like, and that's what they used to say when Hugh Freeze had it going, that it was a freeze warning, and people are like, "Are you angling for the job?" Or I just think he has fun being Lane Kiffin. I don't think he takes himself very seriously.
Yeah. No, and I mean, he is a little bit like Mike Leach in that regard. Mike Leach had a level of disdain for the coach speak. So I mean, you really had no idea where he was going to go. Kiffin's a little more structured in his awkward, bizarre nature, but he's a high IQ guy, as Leach was.
Yeah, he's not talking about Halloween candy and stuff like that.
No.
So And we need to ask you about the Aggies. Are you on board with the Aggies, and should they be number one in the country?
I think it's popular to say they should be. The only thing about the Aggies I'm concerned about, not now but later, is you can't do anything about it. I mean, they went to LSU and won. LSU was allegedly a good team. They went to Missouri, which at one time was a good team, but a lot of their victories are coming against the dregs of the SEC, and that's, you can't do anything about it. You play who's on your schedule. The Notre Dame game saves them though, because you can't.
Right.
That is one of the better quality wins of the season. I really like Elko, another guy that does not fit the cast at A&M or anywhere for that matter. I mean, listen, I know this would be a popular place to make fun of A&M. I happen to like A&M a lot, but I mean, he's like the last guy you would expect to be standing up with and succeeding in that culture.
We love Elko. I think he's a man's man. I think it was a great hire. I liked it from the beginning. He's demanding accountability, and they're good at almost every position. I believe they're the best team in the country because of what they've done away from home. The Aggies, the big knock on them forever has been they get a little bit of success and then they don't get it done at crunch time. That LSU game won me over because they punked. They punked LSU. Maybe LSU quit. I don't know, but they punked them. Last one from me, Paul. I'm gonna put you on the spot. The Texas Longhorns beat the Georgia Bulldogs on Saturday at Sanford Stadium.
No, and I know
Take your time,
it's good.
Paul. Hold on, Paul. Take your time.
Yeah,
Don't rush the answer. I mean, let it
You know,
percolate for a minute.
You know, at my age, we do things much more slowly. But
Something.
I was tempted, but I just can't quite pull the trigger. I mean, I pulled the trigger in Columbus, so it's not like I'm afraid to pick the Longhorns.
Well,
But
you were driving the Arch Manning wagon. You had to pull the trigger. You would have been a hypocrite.
yeah, well, I'm not. But I can't be a hypocrite because I've been to this site so many times, and you know, the only time I've been wrong there in a long time was 3 or 4 or 5 weeks ago when I picked Georgia to beat Alabama. I don't think Texas can quite get over the hump.
Yeah, I wanted the same thing. The last one for me too is, can we just be real here? Are you running for Senate or not? Can you just clear this up? And if you are, Sid and I may move. You're living in Birmingham, right?
Yeah.
We'd move to Birmingham and vote for you. But
I'm not moving to Alabama. Stop it.
Oh, come on. Paul's our friend. He needs our vote. So what are you going to do?
Move to Austin.
Let the man speak.
It's a great question that I've been asked and we really haven't talked about in a long time. And I am still very seriously considering it. It's a part of my day every day. And I know a lot of people thought this was just something that was created, but it wasn't. It was a group of people came to me, and I think they were out of candidates. So
You really want to work for a living, Paul Finebaum? You really want to work for a living?
I mean, watching the last couple of days and seeing what's happening up on the hill, you know, I hadn't given me pause. But you know, would you rather be up there with all the characters, or is it easier to debate Stephen A. Smith every day about nonsensical issues?
Yeah, but if you're going to run for Senate, why not run for president? Okay, I mean, you would beat Stephen A.
He's too young to run for president.
Oh,
yeah, no, well, that's true. President's a little more complicated, but yeah, Stephen A. is very serious about that, and
He shouldn't be. No one's votes for Stephen A. Smith for president. Good Lord, Stephen A.
I know I gave you a political answer on the first question, but I have spoken to Stephen A. about the president, and he believes he's going to be the president. I don't know of what.
Of his own fan club. That's about it.
Hey, I got it perfect. Finebaum, Kiffin.
I thought he was going to go Finebaum Smith.
No. I'd run Lane Kiffin on the campaign trail. That would be entertaining.
That's too southern. Too southern. You got
no such thing as too
You got to have a carpetbagger.
I will also, if I end up doing it, I'd much rather run in Alabama. It's far cheaper to buy advertising in Alabama than I've been following the Texas race. It's pretty expensive.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Well, we'd vote for you, Paul. So.
Thank you very, very much.
Exactly.
I would.
Exactly. Well, we'll look for you in Athens, okay?
Okay. I'll be
All
there
right.
with the
Thank you
campaign
for
buttons.
joining us, Paul. We look forward to seeing you this weekend, sir.
Always great. Thank you, guys.
Bye
See you
now.
guys. Bye-bye, Paul.
Look, always good to chop it up with Paul Finebaum. He's taking the Georgia Bulldog. Who are you taking?
Georgia.
I think I'm taking Georgia too. It's a lot to ask. It's a lot to ask. And even if they'd beaten Florida, I think I'd still be taking Georgia. Just don't lose that much at home. The biggest issue, I think we both agree, don't we, that the defense is going to do okay in this game. They've been pretty good. I mean, the Vanderbilt thing was an outlier, the fourth quarter. What about the offensive line, Duck? 60 yards rushing on 55 carries in the last two meetings with Georgia, and and they gave up 13 sacks. And then they
There's
scored
that.
15 and 19 points in those games. It's an offensive line game. If the offensive line shows up, don't they have a chance?
How many times have they showed up?
Against Georgia, they haven't.
Yeah, no, they haven't. And, they have periodically this year, but the evolution is taking longer than any of us anticipated when you lost 4 starters. And, they've got, and they're moving Cole Hudson to left guard and bringing Connor Robertson, an experienced guy in at center. It's kind of stabilized that line, I think. And
I think so. I think
yeah.
so. And when you go Trevor Gooseby at left tackle, Cole Hudson at left guard, Connor at center, and DJ Campbell at right guard, and then Brandon Baker at right tackle, that's pretty solid. I don't know how deep they are, but that's pretty solid. We did ask Steve Sarkisian about the offensive lines, how big that's going to be, and this is what he had to say.
These guys have all evolved, and our tackles, I think, for the most part, have played pretty good this year. Now, can they get better? Of course. We're always trying to get those guys better. I've said about the last 2 to 3 weeks, we're getting the best version of DJ Campbell that we've gotten since we've been here. And you never know what an injury can do for you. But with Cole being out 2 different times this year, it's kind of pushed Connor Robertson in at center. And all he's done is play pretty good for us. And so when Cole came back to put him at left guard, I think it gave everybody a little bit of sense of confidence. Like, hey, now we really have some players in here that have some experience, that are playing as a unit rather than as individuals. The offensive line is about a unit, and how do you play collectively together? And I thought we were able to do that against Vanderbilt. I thought they played really well. I don't know if there was just some superhuman efforts where guys were just playing out of their mind, but man, they played pretty good together. We picked up blitzes much better than we had all year. And I think that's a sign of maturity and communication and trust that I think having those guys in there. And I think that's probably the sense and feeling that we have as a coaching staff, and Coach Flood, myself. I think there's a real sense of trust in the 5 that are out there right now, that they're going to be able to execute at maybe a little higher level than we were executing earlier in the season.
So, Duck, this Georgia team did have 3 sacks in its last game, but going into that game, they only had 8 for the whole year, by far.
Yeah.
The worst pass rush in the SEC. Should that give Texas some confidence that they can keep Arch Manning upright?
Well, a little bit. I think it should. I mean, the strength of this defense is their linebackers and Dalen Everett in the secondary. Paul was talking about being a little porous, in the defensive backfield. So, and Texas offense has some confidence going in because they have scored, 66 points against Mississippi State and Vanderbilt, and Vanderbilt's got a good defense. So that was at home, but I think more than anything, it's going to come down to protecting Arch, but even more so the run game, as you spelled out. 60 yards in 2 games ain't going to get it done. I mean, they've got to be able to run the ball. They're ranked 95th in the country in rushing. And, when's the last time a great team couldn't run the ball at all? And I know they're not alone. Alabama's had trouble running the ball. Oklahoma has trouble running the ball. It's almost seems epidemic a little bit because everything's gone to that spread offense and, getting the ball to your playmakers in space. So, I don't know. You think the running game is dead, or you think we're going through just kind of a new era in college football?
I just don't think they have a burner on the team. One of those guys that can scare you, especially in a spread offense. The best run game is for me is in a spread offense where you have a guy that can hurt you. And with three wide receivers, but Texas is they're running a lot of two tight end concept, and Sark wants to run it, and it's been 2 yards in a cloud of dust, and I know they've been masking it by throwing some hitch passes. That Wingo pass, it counts as
Right,
it's like
screen.
a run play, and he took it
A
to
lot
the
of
house.
screens.
A
Yeah.
lot of screens to mask their running deficiencies, but sooner or later, CJ Baxter and Travian are going to have to give them like maybe a combined 140, 150 yards. If they can give them 100, if
Ooh,
they can give them
yeah.
100 at Georgia, Texas has a tremendous opportunity to win this
Oh,
game.
yeah. I'll be stunned if they get up to 150. And Georgia, on the other hand, I don't know if you saw that number, last week against Mississippi State, 303 rushing yards by Nate Frazier and the crew at Georgia. I mean, 300 yards. When's the last time we see Texas run the ball like that? And that's what they want to do. They want to, pound you with the run game, be physical on defense, play action passes. Gunnar Stockton has been a lot better than I thought he would be. I
Me
think,
too.
you know,
Admittedly
yeah.
so. I didn't see it coming.
I think he's only got, I think it's just 2 picks all year, and
Mhm.
he'll be comfortable at home. And they use their tight ends a lot. Oscar Delp, a really good tight end. I think he scored his first touchdown last week in Starkville. But they use 2 or 3 tight ends. They're a lot like Sark in that regard. And as Paul was saying, it's time for Sark to win one of these games, and he's won them before. He won at Michigan. He won at Tuscaloosa. So he's won at Kyle Field at A&M. But he's got to get over that Kirby Smart bugaboo. And do you think Georgia kind of has his number, Sid?
I just think that Kirby Smart's an excellent coach, and his teams have brought out the worst in Texas.
Yeah,
Texas has been just inept offensively
they
against
did.
Georgia,
Yeah,
inept,
right.
and if they make a couple of kicks, they probably win last
Yeah,
year in the SEC championship game, but they just haven't been able to impose their will physically on
right.
Georgia, and no team goes in there and punks Georgia. So as much as I like what Texas has done lately, I can't bring myself to pick them in this one, Doc. I
You
can't.
think it's going to be a low-scoring game?
Of course,
Yeah,
of course,
kind of like
it's the
the
20
SEC championship.
it's the 24-20 type game.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
is, and I don't think anybody's going to run away with it. I think Texas is maybe a 5-point underdog,
5.5.
5.5.
Right.
That's about right. And
Yeah.
but if they can run the football and take care of the ball, they've been playing pretty much turnover-free ball for a
Yeah.
while now. If they can do that,
Yeah.
um, they have a chance. They have
They got
veterans on that team. They have playmakers, but they just haven't busted out and had a big time. Did you see that type of play in the last 2 meetings against the Bulldogs?
and Georgia tackles very well, and they've been a great second half team. I think they've given up something like 74 points in all their second halves because, they've been behind a lot. They got 4 comeback wins. So, if they get behind, they're going to believe. But Texas has won close games now, so they've got some belief too. So I hope the game lives up to the billing. You
It
know,
will. I think so. I think it'll be
I
fun.
hope so. And I think, like our discussion with Paul, I think it's possible that a 9-3 could get a team in, and that would mean again Texas has to beat Georgia or A&M for its
And not
third.
lose to Arkansas.
No, that's a given. That's a given. But yeah, if you have 3 wins over a top 10 team, you play in the SEC, and you have the guts to go play at the Shoe, and only lost by a touchdown. And that's a lot in your pocket there that you can be proud of. So this one, if they got to beat A&M or Georgia, and they got to be competitive in both games. You don't want to go get blown out by either one of those teams.
Yeah, I agree with that. So I just think it's going to be tough. I think it's going to be tough, and the
Me too.
Florida loss, just
Yeah.
like I said on the last podcast, that just killed them. I think
Yeah.
that just killed them. But if they do that, if they go 2-1 with wins over Georgia and A&M,
Ooh.
who's going to say no to Texas?
Oh, they're in. You do that, you're in. And, they'd be dangerous. I was watching the SEC Now this week, and Chris Doering said they might be the most dangerous team in the SEC because of that potential that they haven't fully tapped into yet.
Definitely the most desperate. Definitely the most desperate. Got to get this one.
And
Well,
they
let's go
have
do
been.
it. Hmm?
And
Yeah.
they have been since
And they
Florida,
have
like
been.
you mentioned.
They have been
right?
since Florida. So they say it's the SEC championship game every week, and I believe them because they can't. They don't have any wiggle room, Doug. They
Exactly.
don't. So,
Exactly.
but we will be there this weekend, flying out Friday. If you see us at Sanford Stadium, come up to us, shake our hands. We're always glad to commiserate with the Longhorn Nation. I mean, you might not like us, but we like you. We like you. We got to thank Paul Finebaum for taking some time out of his busy schedule to join us. Don't run for Senate, Paul. Don't run for Senate. Not worth the headache. Stick with Stephen A. Stick with Stephen A. That'll do it for this week. We'll see you next time, guys.
That's a wrap. You've just experienced On Second Thought, powered by Hookem.com. Want more? Join Sed and Kirk every Thursday for a fun sports ride from the ATX. Find archived episodes anytime on YouTube, Apple, Google Play, and Yahoo.